everybody, and welcome to the Tasker Zero to Hero course. The first thing we're going to go over is variables. This is going to be super simple. Variables are the way that you can essentially transfer information or modify it and save it to wherever it is that you want to go, right? For example, let me pull up my screen so you can see what I see. Okay, so this is what Tasker is going to look like out of the box. Maybe ignore some of the extra things to the sides, right? Like all these things on the lower end. Where is my... There you are. Right, so maybe ignore some of these things down here, right? We're going to be focusing over here on the tutorial section. That being said, so let's get right into it. When it comes to variables, you're going to run into 4 different types of variables, largely, right? There's going to be the local variables. These are the types of variables that will only ever show up inside of your tasks, okay? Then there's going to be the profile variables. These are profile wide, right? So let's make one right here, and I can showcase both of these. So let's say, I don't know, we'll do a event, because why not? No, let's go back. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do an event. No, I don't want to do that either. Let's try state. Let's see what's in state. No, I don't even want to do that. Let's do day. Here we go. Yeah, so we're going to do a day. I'm going to change this to Tuesday, right? Cool. So Tuesday, any day that Tuesday occurs, it's going to now do whatever action we tell it. So let's go here. We're going to call this flash or flash output, if I can type properly. Cool. Excellent. So inside here, we're going to open this up and we're going to look for flash. Okay. So what flash is essentially is it's going to show a short little blurb of whatever it is that you want. In this case, it will also show the variable that we select, right? So we're going to name this flash test, and I'll show you how that works shortly. So if we click flash, or we click the play button down here, flash test, exactly what we typed out. Now this is how we're going to show the variable values that we work with, right? So first things first, we're going to select set variable. Set variable, right? This is where you're going to go to create your variables, right? Now, for the sake of this video, the way that it works is when you create a variable, keep in mind that all lowercase is going to be your local variables, right? Those variables that only exist within this task exclusively. You can't access them anywhere else. All right, cool. So we're going to call this local variable, right? And then we're going to set this to I am a local variable. Cool. Now, this is going to be the value that is set to local variable. So if we take this, we're going to drag it. We're going to drag this to the top. Now we can open here, right? And the way that Tasker uses variables is it puts a % sign in front of whatever variable that you want, right? So we're going to type % local variable. And that's going to show that. Now let's double check, right? So here's local variable, all lowercase, and we're using underscores, no spaces, because then it tries to do weird stuff, and we don't want that. So if we click play here, there it is. I am a local variable. That's what we set to the first variable. Now, if we come out here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy both of these. Copy. We're going to move over to tutorial 1, right? Into task. We're going to make a new one. Test local variable. Okay. So now, if I hold here and I paste this, and we don't want to set it because this is proving that it's only accessible in tutorial 2. So if I try to paste this, or if I try to showcase this, right? If I click play, what do you think is going to show here? There's only one right answer. And the right answer is exactly the text that you see here, because even though we put the %, this is not going to showcase anywhere else, right? The variable value from tutorial 2 does not get drawn into here because this is a completely different task. So if we click play, it's literally just going to show %local variable. It doesn't know what that is. It doesn't know that that's supposed to be a variable name because it doesn't exist in this task. Okay, so now that we have that set up, right, we're going to go back to our tutorial 2, and that takes care of local. So the next variable that we're going to look at is the profile variable. This is one step up. This one only occurs within the different tasks that occur within a profile, right? So here we have only one task playing. This is the profile, aka the trigger. This is the task that's going to happen when this trigger occurs. Now today's Tuesday, so this will actually activate. See, there it is, because today's Tuesday. Ignore that, that's something else. We don't care about that right now. What we're going to do here is we're going to create another task, right? And I know task tree is a little bit wonky. Select a different task allows you to make a new task. It doesn't have just a make new task. So we're going to make a new task, and we're going to call this test profile variables, right? Cool. So now we're inside of test profile variables. So in this one, right, we're going to create a flash, and I'm going a little bit out of order here. This is my first time. Ignore it, whatever. So here we're going to make this profile variable, and we're going to make that a variable. Now granted, this also doesn't exist right now, right? We haven't set up the profile variable. So if we do this, it's just going to show %profile variable. So let's go back, and we're going to hold the profile, right? Sorry, the profile. We're going to go into the properties, and this is where you set up your profile variables, okay? So here we're going to create profile variable, and we're going to set this value to hello, I am a profile variable. Excellent. Ignore that. We don't want to add any spaces. Also, there is really no save button in Tasker. So when you go back and you click that back arrow like we just saw, this is how you save anything that you put within the values and then hit that back arrow. It's just going to, essentially it's going to enter it, but this is how you save things. So get used to that and still continue to ignore that. Excellent. So here's what we're going to do. We go back in here. Where did our other variable go? Oh, well, I guess it didn't save it. All right, well, so let's do select a different task. Oh no, it is right there. Interesting. Well, if that's the case, we're just gonna have to make another profile, or we'll make an exit task. How do I want to do this? Usually they let you make more. Huh. Exit will still do it. So essentially, this one is when Tuesday occurs, right? It's going to do the green arrow. What we're about to create is an exit task. So exit task, right? And so now what happens is whenever it's no longer Tuesday, or it has been Tuesday and turns off from Tuesday, so in this case when it turns to Wednesday, because we can't rewind time or whatever, it's going to enable the next task, right? So the new exit task, that's what's it's going to create. So in this one, it doesn't matter, they're both in the same profile, we're still going to be able to use it. So we're going to go in here and we're going to find flash again, right, our output, and we're going to put percent profile variable. Boom. We're going to go back. Now this should save. There it is, exit task. So inside of the test profile variable, we have the profile variable, right? That's in this task. This is a completely different task, and yet we have the same variable, right? If I click play, there it is. Hello, I'm a profile variable. That we never set this up in this task. If we go in the other one, click, hello, I'm a profile variable. It goes between both of them. So if you have any values that you want to pass between multiple tasks within one profile and profile essentially means trigger, right? Or set of triggers, then this is how you do that. You use profile variables. I know, and they don't really have like an action. These are actions. So like if I go in here and I look in net, these are all different actions. Ignore that. We're gonna go back. I don't know what just happened. Oh, I'm using a mouse. Ignore that. So if we go back and we go in here, these are actions. If we go to media, these are actions, right? So Flash, this one is action number 1. If we go back out and look at, where's the other one? Flash output, this has 2 actions, right? It's essentially the steps. So we're gonna go back to our test output. If we wanted to, like we never had to set up the profile variable, instead we did that within the actual thing, not inside of our set variable, right? I don't know that you can actually create a profile variable here specifically. You have to go into the profile setting, right? Well, and sure enough, if you go into the properties within the task, you also have local variables. So task variable is essentially the same as local variable. And the reason why I say that is because task and local variables only exist here within this specific task. So they're the same thing as far as I'm concerned. All right, so the next thing up that we're going to step to is once you go beyond the profile, now you have project variables, right? And so we're gonna go into tutorial 1, the base one, right? And we're going to create, this is a project, this is a project. These are all my projects that I have running. This is a project, that's a project. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna create a project variable. So first we're gonna need a new thing. So we're gonna say day, and we're going to do, I don't know, what's today, Tuesday? We're gonna do Tuesday again, and then it's gonna ask us to make a variable, or make a task. We're gonna say test project variables, right? Excellent, so this is the task. We're gonna do another Flash, because that is our favorite thing to do. Our output, sweet. And we're gonna put in a percent here, percent project variable. All right, now project variables are a little bit more special than the profile variables, aka the trigger variables, because these project variables carry over everything inside the project, right? You can carry them within other tasks as long as those tasks live within this project. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back out. Here's how you do that. You go over and you hold down here, right? Over the project, you go to properties, same way you did last time, and here are your project variables. So we're going to make this one called project variable, right? And then we're going to make that value, hello, I'm a project variable. All right, sweet. So that's going to be that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to hold this and we're just going to copy it just to save some time, right? So this is within the one task, okay? We're going to go back here, we're going to make another task. Oh, look, we already have one. Sweet. So we're going to go here inside of local variable and we're just going to delete this. Actually, we're just going to paste it there first. Then we're going to cut this because there's also no delete button. It's literally just cut. And there's no undo. Tell me about it. It annoys me as well. Project variable. We're going to copy this one more time, and we're going somewhere with this. We're going to go in tutorial. Let's go into Flash output because why not? We're going to, no, we want to paste it here, and then we're going to get rid of this one. Okay, excellent. So Flash output, here we go. So now that we're here, right, we're within the tutorial, which has our project variable, right? We're gonna go inside this one and we're gonna click this. Hello, I'm a project variable. That's exactly what we put earlier. Excellent. So we're gonna go to, a different task. Cool. Hello, I'm a project variable. Still works because it's under the same project, right? Profiles, it doesn't matter. They're all under the same place. Excellent. So now we're going over to tutorial. Tutorial does not have any variables here. There's nothing. We never set up any project variables. So now we're gonna go back in the Flash output and we click play and it's going to show us percent project variable. Different project, doesn't count, right? It literally does not translate. Excellent. Hey guys, Editor Matt here. I forgot to share something with you. So the value of profile variables is that you don't have to worry about them transferring information between two different profiles, but they can still operate within plenty different tasks, right? As long as those are related to the specific profile that you want them to be a part of. When it comes to the project variables, the value with those is that you essentially get a pseudo global variable, as you can share it just about anywhere within the same project, but you don't have to worry about it gumming up your variable list when you're creating new tasks. So it won't show up in the global variable section. And a personal gripe of mine is that you cannot delete global variables. You can only clear them. So back to video, Matt. And so that comes back to our third variable type, and this is our fourth and final user created variable type. These are our globals. Now these bad boys are a gift and a curse, right? All of these you kind of need to have the foresight of how you're going to plan out your different tasks and how you want them to work. These global variables might seem like, well, if I just want to use them everywhere. The issue is, if you look at global variables, let's look over here. Let's see if I have any that you can see. Yeah, so ready is a global variable. I can access this one anywhere. It doesn't matter what project, it doesn't matter what task, it doesn't matter what profile, anywhere. These global variables can be used, grabbed, and changed from anywhere. That's both a gift and a curse. Because if you change a variable and you didn't think about how it's going to change in another task or profile or anything, you can now start having problems because they're going to start interacting and interfering with your other tasker abilities, tasker tasks. I know, sweet lock screen, right? Anyway, all right, so here we go. Let's test these global variables. So first thing, test global variable. Sweet. So in order to create a global variable, these ones are special. You can create them anywhere you want. You can create them whenever you want. It does not matter, as long as you do one thing. Global variables they must have at least one capital letter within them. That's how they work, right? So what we're going to do here, if I can unlock my screen again, there we go. Let's set a variable, right? Like we did with the first one. Set variable, there we are. Set variable. So we're gonna call this global variable, right? And for the sake of this, I'm gonna put it here and get rid of this one, just so you can know this is how global variables work. This will be a global variable because there's one or more capital letters in it. So we're gonna, hello, I'm a global variable. Excellent. Awesome. So this one is inside of, where are we? We're right now inside of tutorial 1, right? And let's go back. We're gonna pop this open. We didn't put a flash. What am I doing here? Flash. Just kidding. Flash. Excellent. And I hit the right click. I'm not gonna cut this. Just bear with me. Here we go. All right, so global, and this is the hard part. You must remember exactly how you did it last time. So if I typed global here, or capital G here, and a lowercase v here, that's a different variable. I know, crazy. So, here we go. In fact, why don't we test that? That sounds like a fun thing to do. We're gonna clone this. Cloning is essentially a copy paste right there on the spot. It's just a duplicate. So we're going to set a different variable, and we're gonna call this global with a capital G and a lowercase v, and then we're going to say that, hello, I'm global's neighbor. I don't know. Sweet, I'm global's neighbor. Excellent. Now we're gonna back out, we're gonna save, and excellent. So if I go into this flash, and you can use extra spaces, so we're gonna do that. And we're gonna put percent global variable, sweet, and boom. See? 2 different variables. I would love to make this longer, but just bear with me. You can see it. There it is. Hello, I'm a global variable. Hello, I'm global variables, or global's neighbor. All right, so that's all within the same task. But because these are globals, we're going to go over to a completely different project. And now we're going to, let's go into flash output. We're just going to do that one. Flash output, excellent. So this is a completely different project, a completely different task, a completely different profile. It does not matter. Global variable, percent, global variable. That's not how we did that last time. That's how we did that last time. Excellent. So we're going to go back out, and we're going to go back out, and we're going to click save, because otherwise we might, I don't know, lose something crazy. So this is where we made it. This is where we're viewing it. Ignore my mouse, it's being wonky. Here we go, 2 different global variables. Flash output, doot. Hello, I'm global. Hello, I'm global's neighbor. It doesn't matter where you put these. And so because these hold the same values, right? And because you can edit them everywhere, you really, I cannot stress enough, it's better to plan ahead and imagine or use project, profile, and local variables to the best of your ability than to make everything a global variable. Because guess what? You also can't delete them. You can clear them, right? If I go here and I hold this, I can clear it. I can't get rid of global variables. I don't know why they did that. I don't know. I just didn't ask questions. Whatever. You can clear them. There is a way that you can get around this if you decided to import or back up your Tasker workflows and then open up the XML file because it exports as an XML file. You can go in there and just delete out the global variables, but that's a whole lot more work because you're going to need a text editor and all this extra stuff rather than just not using them or using them sparingly. So now if I go back inside here, like technically it doesn't exist because there's nothing tied to it. Now it's going back to global variable, but it's never, ever, ever going to get rid of this unless I do that text edit thing, right? That export and then text edit. It's a pain in the butt. I don't need it in my life. So I would just prefer, rather than potentially having these variables that can be accessible anywhere and modified anywhere and start causing headaches, problems, whatever, when you're trying to already dump copious amount, depending on how complex, but some amount of time, right? Just save yourself the headache. Use your local, your project, and your profile variables to the best of your ability, and you shouldn't have to worry about them coming back to haunt you later on, right? So I hope you enjoyed this. These are all of the different types of variables that the users can create. There's also the system variables. Those are... Okay, fine, you twisted my arm, I'll do it. Here we go. So if we go inside of, let's make a new one. New one. Why not? We'll just lightning round this. So every single time that you want to grab information, you can largely take something from that piece and input it as a variable itself. You can interact with other things. So if I go in here and I look for get app, where is it? It's like get info. I don't remember. Here it is. Get screen info. Right. So you might not see this because I'm pretty sure this is a plugin. There are plugins. We'll go over that later. But for right now, these are the different variables that this specific action will create. It'll give me the application name, the application class, extras, whatever that means, packages. Whatever texts and URLs, like all these different things I can grab from any application that I'm actively looking at when I run this action. Therefore, if I go here, all right, cool. So now that I do that, I'm going to do another flash. I know, surprise, surprise. Keep coming. My cat's attacking my toes. My cat's attacking my toes. My cat's attacking my toes. Here we go. Percent. Oh, no, because I don't remember what I just saw in that other action. But that brings good news because that means that we can press this little button right here, right? And this will show me all of the different variables that I have access to, right? See, there's ready right there. Oh, look, there's our friend global variable and global capital V variable. Crazy. They are accessible everywhere. We already went over that. Gonna beat that dead horse. So there's all of these other things that you can also have access to that just exist, right? Calendar events, and you got CPU governor and CPU frequency, you got battery level, These are things that are just variables that actively live without you having to set them up. These are system variables. They will always be here. They're never going anywhere. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can't edit them because they usually relate to a sensor of some sort that is actively running on your device. Now, before all of the system, right, you're going to have typically any variables that are related to this specific application, right? Or sorry, this task that we're working on, this workflow. So right here is the screen info. All those variables we just saw are right here. Like there's app name, right? Now, for sake of example, I'm going to create set, can I not? Okay, let's try this again. Set variable, there we go. All right, so if I made this, I don't know. No, we can't do that. I'm new. That's what we're gonna do, right? And this is gonna be money, because why not? That's the first thing that came to me. All right, so now we created that variable, and notice if I go back up here, it's not going to show that one exists. Oh, it does show it exists. I thought it was only going to show it if it like had flow control, but you know, I learned something today. Sweet. So we're going to put I'm new there, but it might still not exist. So it exists in that list, but it might not exist because Flash comes before variable set. So yeah, see, so it allows you to view it when you click that icon because it's present within this task, but it will not allow you to view it before it's created because logic. That just makes sense. You can't see something before, you know. So anyway, you're going to see all the variables that you've created locally here, right? Then you're going to see all the variables that come from any actions prior to that you're grabbing information from. And usually this block comes like directly up the pipeline, right? So one spot up, you're usually going to see, for example, if we took this flash, like this. So here's the screen info, right? And then here's the flash. It's going to show us the most relevant variables we're probably trying to grab from because they're the closest and directly above. They're the step before this one, right? So anyway, I know that was kind of long-winded, but I think that was important. So here we're going to delete I'm new. And now we're going to run this. And actually, let me delete this too for, No, I think I'm going to show you that too. Set variable. Don't worry, this one is short. Set variable, I'm new. And we're going to set that to awesome, right? If you have something that you also do not want to be shown, right, you're going to hold that, or you don't want it to execute this when you're going through it, just hit the power button. That way you don't have to get rid of it. It'll just skip over it. So if we click this, right, it's not going to set I'm new. In fact, I can show you that. And we'll type I'm new here. Or let's use our new skill. I'm new. There it is. It's not going to show that because it doesn't exist. So, and there it is. Tasker. We are in Tasker right now. That's true. And the I'm new also doesn't exist because we essentially told it don't run that. Don't make a variable. And so this actually concludes all the variables that you have access to and how to use them. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I check them daily. And I will be back soon, sometime either this week or next week with our next video. I don't know what we're going to go over then. Probably touch more into all of these sensors. I'm just babbling at this point. So leave a comment, leave a like, follow, subscribe if you're trying to learn Tasker. Let me know what you plan to build with this, and I will see you on the next one. So thank you for joining me. Matthew Holland. Talk to you soon.